Welcome to the Rushmore podcast. My name's Pepper.
My name's Thomas.
And this is a podcast where we take our Mount Rushmore of any given topic. And if you listen to the podcast long enough, we abruptly quit. This week, we are doing our Mount Rushmore of fat people. But
Fatties?
first, yes,
Did
fatties.
you make it specific to people?
Oh, no, I just said fatties.
Yeah, fatties. Let's go with fatties. Mine
Okay.
might all be people though. I don't know. Well, I do
Yeah.
know, but
We'll see.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, accidentally, I have no women, unfortunately, because fat women don't matter.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I would say no woman is fat. I don't think you can be fat and be a woman.
Okay, explain.
You can be a woman that is beautiful in her own way. You can say something like that, but you can't call it. They're not fat. Like the Sports
Okay.
Illustrated, yeah, like the Sports Illustrated chick.
Which one? Ashley Alexis?
Oh, who? That sounds like a porn star.
Dude, no. Hey, everybody listen to this. Pause right now and go look up Ashley Alexis on Instagram. It is the most and I stand by this, and
Okay.
I'm a fucking connoisseur, so I
Yeah.
know what the fuck I'm talking about. It is the most insane dump truck ass on the planet. Go look it up. Fucking tell me I'm wrong.
And her name.
Fucking tell me I'm
She has alliteration in her name. She's not a porn star.
yes.
Okay,
That's right.
So what is
She's a model.
Just a model.
She's a model. And hey, Thomas, guess what? She's a big Patriots fan.
Is she?
Yes.
That makes sense.
Massive.
No, well, you can't call her massive. That's my point.
Dude, I mean, you just got to see it. Like,
Okay.
I don't know how measurements work when it comes to like human body, but her ass is it like you can't even comprehend it. It is insane.
What's her name?
Ashley Alexis.
Yeah, it's not like we're gonna do a bunch of more episodes, so I can fucking stop and look this up.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, who gives a
Yeah, it's
shit?
not like we're gonna.
I
It's
don't
not like
have
we're
to
gonna scare
respect
away.
this fan base.
Yeah, it's not like we're gonna scare away new listeners by fucking Thomas playing on his
Yeah.
phone.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
That almost looks.
I know.
Yeah,
It almost looks fake or something.
yeah. It almost looks like a photo, like a.
It almost looks like a deformity.
It's yeah. It looks unnatural,
Yeah.
but in a good way. Yeah, she's from Boston, so that makes sense. She is a self-made curve model and a Jill of all trades, not a jack of all trades.
Gotcha. Yeah. Her
That's fucking
husband.
stupid.
I don't remember. It was either her or some other dude where her husband kind of looked like me, and I was like, "Ooh, if
Alexis-
anything,
Alexis
Never
is one of the
happens.
most like porny names, though.
true."
All right.
Like-
Anyways, are we doing? Is this another podcast too at the same time?
Yeah, we're gonna do a History Bus Patreon episode because recently we did Hurricane Katrina, and Phil talked about his Hurricane Katrina experience, which was pretty wild.
Can you
But-
recap it for me?
He was in Atlanta working while it happened. He had to drive down. He had to drive down like in the middle of it, and bunch of
Why?
crazy shit. Oh, but I guess because everything flowed away. No. But here's you're gonna hate this. His house didn't flood,
Oh, that's a crazy story.
but a lot of other places did, and he came down there basically like to work and do cleanup and stuff.
So it came down after.
Yeah, kinda.
All right. That doesn't sound like a very crazy fucking
Well, no,
story.
I mean it was like there was definitely crazy stuff that happened.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's still like the aftermath of Katrina is maybe worse than the storm. I don't know.
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
To be like, anytime your story about a storm happens, like it starts with I was 3 states away. Only so much could happen during that storm.
I mean, all due respect to Phil, but that's why I was like, we need to get Thomas to tell our loyal listeners about his fucking story because, like, I vaguely remember bits and pieces, but it's so crazy. I'm not sure if you're lying or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, it almost feels like I was trying to think of it so I could do it accurately here, but a lot of it is kind of gray and blurry to me now. So I was hoping you could kind of pitch in on anything you remembered or stop along the way to refresh my memory because I feel like I'm going to leave out and forget a lot.
Yeah, well, I definitely wasn't there, so that's 0% chance that's gonna happen.
No, I just meant like because you've heard it before.
Sure, but
But,
we'll see.
Yeah. I don't
If
know.
anybody thinks Thomas is lying, email us at rushmorepodcast@gmail.com and we will let you know.
Some of these people are still alive, so they might be able to corroborate some of this. But
Cooperate.
corroborate?
Was Zane in it?
Yeah, Zane was there.
Okay.
Wait. Zane.
Oh.
Yes, Zane was
convenient.
there. Zane was there. Zane worked for like Verizon or AT&T or something. He had some shitty job where you would go to random cities like throughout Louisiana and Texas, and you had to climb the towers. To check
Mhm.
something. like cell phone towers. Is
You had
that
to
its
climb the
job?
towers and jerk off.
Yeah, to jerk off onto the phone signals to make sure that they were lubricated. But he was young. This is 2005, so Zane was 20. Zane would have been 20 when this happened. I was 12. Uh, yeah, and Zane was there because I remember like nobody could find him when the storm was coming, and it
That's a
wasn't there
very
yet.
Zane thing to do, is to
Yeah,
not be there.
and to also work for a cell phone company and not have your phone on you. And I
Yeah.
remember nobody could get a hold of him, and he had been in Louisiana. So we were like, we need fucking Zane to get here. So what we did, this is the worst idea probably in the history of storms from any family. So my mom has 13 siblings, right? They decided the whole family, including their kids and their grandkids, and I probably have 60 cousins, we're all going to get into my Aunt Pam's house. She's dead. She drank herself to death, liver failure, like 3 years ago. You've met Robert, his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, his mom.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Well, we were at her house, and there's probably, I'm trying not to exaggerate here, there's probably 45 people in this house.
It was like a family reunion.
Yes, during the storm.
Forced. Yeah.
And the Atwells, which is this family.
All right.
Okay.
Pause. So that's what happened. So the storm was coming, and they said it was going to be bad. So you guys decided, not you, but your family decided we were all going to go to Aunt Pam's house, and we're going to wait it out there.
Yes. Now, the reason that's a terrible idea, and this is something you would know as a 12-year-old, I don't really think about these things. And we have been through tons of hurricanes living there in Orange Grove, which is Moss Point, Mississippi, which is on the coast. And the Shingle Mill Landing, which is where I lived, which is right by the Shingle Mill River. We have been through tons of hurricanes. I've been through Hurricane George was really bad when I was in like kindergarten, flooded my whole town basically in Orange Grove. And we all kind of live central to that area. So they decided to meet there. But the reason this is a terrible idea, this is in Shingle Mill Landing. So you are maybe an eighth of a mile away from the Shingle Mill River.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a body of water that can flood.
The road that we're on is called Shingle Mill Landing Road, right? The interesting thing, you know where the Oaks is in Moss Point?
Uh-huh.
It's right by that. So the interesting thing about Shingle Mill Landing Road is it's called the Three Lakes Road because there is one lake on one side and two lakes on the other side of this one road.
Oh, and then makes
and a river right behind
that's
the
three
house.
lakes.
That's 4 bodies of water.
Holy shit.
So a river too. And then of course the Gulf is right down the fucking road.
What's that?
That is where the hurricane is.
What is it though?
The Gulf of Mexico.
And what, like, explain that a little bit
That's
more.
another body of water. So it's like a lake, but it's bigger.
Oh, okay.
Lighter.
So
So one's alligator, one's shark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Chris Rock joke.
Yes. No.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Can
It's
you
like
explain that?
it's like here's the difference between alligators and sharks.
Okay.
I've never seen an alligator and decided to hide my wallet or whatever.
All right. So I was gonna ask in that joke, which one's the shark?
The shark would be the I mean, they're both pretty bad, you know.
Huh? Which ones? The alligator and sharks,
Yeah.
or the other two? The two from the joke.
I guess sharks would be the yeah.
This is
Hey.
history buff, so you can say it. Y'all do it all the time.
Hey, never said it before, not gonna start now.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I think I would say the sharks probably.
You know, in the context of a joke, I think it's safe. You can say it
Oh, for like the sake of being
because
true
you're
to comedy.
quoting Chris Rock.
Yeah.
You're not saying it yourself. This is Chris Rock saying it. So what does he say?
You know the difference between
That's Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
That was a terrible Chris Rock. Anyway, so we're surrounded by alligators and all kinds of other fucking animals.
Time out, because
Yep.
here's something that the audience should know. This whole area, the Shingle Mill area, it is like maybe a mile away, if that, to
The Gator Farm?
an alligator farm.
Yep.
That was featured on an A&E show, I believe.
Yes. Swamp Masters or whatever the fuck they're called.
Who cares?
The Swamp Daddies?
Yeah, you get it. It's a show about people who catch alligators, and that farm that was like a tourist trap was right there. And so from what I understand, I didn't know this until recently. From what I understand, it's illegal in the state of Mississippi to keep alligators as like a pet.
Huh.
And I guess the way they get around it is they just let a shit ton of alligators go in that area, and alligators are like pretty chill. And if you just drop them in the lake, they're like, well, fuck, I'm in a lake. I don't really have to go anywhere.
It's kind
And I think they feed them. So there's no fences or anything keeping them there. They're just
Yeah,
kind of
like
there.
if you do the tour there, you can get on the boat or whatever, the little swamp boat, and you can do the which is like the airboat from Waterboy, or
Yeah.
you can just like walk kind of like the bridges. But yeah, there's nothing keeping the alligators from you.
Yeah.
They're just kind of hanging out.
And
And honestly, if you drive down Highway 90 in that area, you'll randomly see an alligator like in the median, or
yeah.
they're kind of just hanging out.
And they have exceptional alligators.
They're big.
Yeah.
They're
They
fucking
don't
big.
like, they do have like a bunch of, 4 foot, 6 foot. And I've seen those in person. They're like, you feel like you could definitely beat one of those in a fight. Once it gets to like 8 to 10 feet, you're like, oh no, that's instant death. And then once you get above 10 feet, that's when it's like, my God, that is a monster in real life.
Yeah, I mean, I was a teenager the last time I really saw any alligators around there, but I feel like they were about 10 feet
Yeah.
in that area.
Yeah.
Like I
That's
feel
what
like
I'm
everyone
saying.
I've seen around there is about that size.
They have exceptional, well-fed alligators in that alligator farm. Continue.
Okay. So there's alligators fucking everywhere, all in the neighborhood basically. And actually, Hurricane George, which I've also talked about on the podcast, Hurricane George in '98 when I was 5, an alligator ate my dog Buster in my front yard.
That's right. I remember that.
That was also a hurricane thing. And I'm in this house we're staying in. I'm 2 streets away from where that happened. So I'm 12. I'm hanging out with my cousins and shit. It starts to flood. It's hard to remember like the order of things, but I remember water coming in. I remember I was actually asleep on the floor and got wet. I was laying on the living room floor and started getting wet whenever I woke up. And everybody's like, "Oh, fucking, it's flooding." But flooding there is not a cause for like an overreaction. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know we're gonna flood. I can throw a rock into the fucking swamp across the street.
It's not like you sitting in your house. I'm talking to like the listener, and then water just starts coming in.
Yeah.
This area, everything is a fucking swamp.
Yeah.
So if it rains like really hard for 2 days, it's gonna flood.
Right. So where it became a problem is you have all of these people in this house. And I mean, it's probably a 5-bedroom, 2-story house my Aunt Pam had. It's a nice big house. So everybody's not really on top of each other, but it's fucking crowded. But what happens is the flooding gets so bad, and you would actually probably know this better than me because you know shit about shit. But doesn't Mobile have like I don't know if levee's the right word, but they have like floodgates where they keep water in. They open those, and I guess that affects Moss Point very poorly.
Yeah, whenever Mobile, Alabama thinks it's going to flood, it opens gates and floods rivers, and it basically Mobile just floods Mississippi so they don't get wet.
Right.
It's kind of fucked up.
So they did that like as soon as the storm was getting bad, like on the front of the storm.
Yeah.
So the river Shingle, I guess most of the water came from Shingle River because this is not Gulf water, obviously. This is brown swamp fucking water. It floods the house to the point where it gets to the top step. So it's probably flooded 20 feet, I guess it would be, maybe more than that.
Wait, hold on.
Not the top step at the front of the house, the staircase in the water inside of the house. The first floor of this house is underwater.
Okay. You're going to have to explain. You're going to have to give me a more gradual explanation of the flooding because you can't just go like, so yeah, I got wet sleeping on the floor and then water on the top step.
Yeah, no. So I mean, that's all kind of gray to me because I remember when it started flooding because I remember laying on the floor whenever it happened. And I feel like one of my other cousins was laying there too. And I remember it starting flooding and it kind of in my head goes to like everybody get upstairs because there's so much water coming. And only reason I even know that it flooded to the second story is because that's where we end up. So that's the only reason I even really said that because I don't remember the gradual, like how that happened really. I mean, obviously we know how it happened. Water got in the fucking house.
Yeah.
But
storm surge.
That whole town was underwater. And yeah, I actually Googled it before we looked up this. I was trying to find like silly facts about Hurricane Katrina. There's not a lot of those. But
there's not a lot of fun facts.
Yeah. But I did
fact,
see
George Bush hates black people.
That's probably my favorite thing that came out of Katrina. Storm surge did get to 22 feet during Katrina. And over 80% of New Orleans is underwater, 20 foot deep. So that's pretty fucking interesting. It's a lot. And so I'm assuming we're taking on water from every body of water that's around us. I guess
if I remember right, the eye of the storm actually passed over Biloxi.
Yeah, see, I don't know that. And there was obviously that whole outcry of like,
I think
they called Mississippi landmass.
Yeah, so they called on the Weather Channel. They called Mississippi, like the coastal Mississippi, the landmass between Louisiana and Alabama.
Yeah, that would be a really weird. That's been 17 years ago now. That'd be a really weird like misspeak or mishap to really tie yourself to and like name a comedy culture after. That'd be a weird fucking thing to hang on to. So the
Well, like
first,
use it as branding or something.
yeah, that's just strange. Just like remember this reference on the Weather Channel 17
Yeah,
years ago?
that'd be
That's
tough
my
to pull off.
yeah. I don't really see that going anywhere. But that's why we didn't name this the Landmass Podcast.
Yeah, it was on the short list, but we were like, no, like nobody's gonna remember that.
I forget you
So
weren't
it's
there.
just
That fucking blows my
yeah.
mind. When you called me to talk about this, I was like, how do you not have a story? And then I remember you're from Georgia.
No, I was in Georgia. We did get out of school for the
That's so
hurricane.
why?
It hit us.
No.
It did.
Okay, here's another thing. And I almost did it right there. It also weirds me out when people get upset that other people like claim they got hit by it. Have you seen that? Does that happen? Like people will be like, if somebody does a documentary on it and they're like, you know, it hit New Orleans, but they don't mention Mississippi or Mobile or something, like, motherfucker, it hit us too. Like, why are you forgetting about us? That's a weird thing to be upset about.
Yeah, I do see a lot of people like trying to one up everybody. And I think that's what it is. But like, no, I'll tell you, like when it hit Georgia, like we technically did get hit by Hurricane Katrina, but it was like a tropical storm, if that, by the time it hit us.
Yeah.
So it was nothing.
So we're on the second story and it's coming into the second floor to where it's flooding up there. And there's also, I'm trying to remember who it was, 2005. Somebody's pregnant. I remember that. There was a pregnant lady with us. There's so many fucking people there. I can't remember who it was.
Was it yours?
No, I think it was one of my cousins. I did lose my virginity that year.
Oh,
but
that's way too young.
Yeah, that's what. But and that was post Katrina, by the way. So that was a hell of a run this next 4 months.
Yeah, that's a dirty fuck.
Anyways, we had to climb out of Robert's window one by one onto the roof. Oh, what the hell? It said that this meeting's going to end in 10 minutes. When does Zoom start doing 40 minutes for 2 people?
I don't know.
How odd. Are you recording from your end by chance?
No, I can't.
All right. Yeah, we might have to start another one after 10 minutes.
Okay.
It's real fucking weird. So we're climbing out. I don't think everybody's climbing out of one window, but that's how I see it in my head because I was probably only in that room. Is everybody's climbing out one by one onto the roof. But where a lot of us are on the roof, Robert and Zane, I remember specifically, they had a boat that was tied up. Robert and Zane did, my Uncle Cheyenne did, that was tied up somewhere. And it was kind of just floating around because we're talking about 20 feet of water at least. Yeah. And the boat's just kind of like wobbling about. And Zane and Robert go out there to I guess get it, to try to get control of it, bring it over. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. But I specifically remember, and I feel like this might be exaggerated a little, but I don't feel like it is, but I feel like it might be. But I remember Zane grabbing what I think is an eel. It might have been a snake, but I feel like it was an eel. Do rivers have eels?
Yeah.
I remember him saying it's an eel, but I figured it's probably a snake because there's snakes fucking everywhere.
No, there's eels for sure.
But the girls were screaming because there were eels or snakes or whatever swimming around them, like around Robert and Zane while they're trying to get to this boat, and they're screaming at him. And Zane picked one of them up, kissed it on the mouth, and threw it about 50 yards.
That also sounds like a very Zane thing to do.
That does sound like a Zane thing to do, and I feel like I see it in my head whenever I remember that story. But and it wasn't me, so I don't think I'm making it up. If I said I did that, I'd probably be making it up.
We'll go with that happened.
Okay, so he kisses that. I don't know what happens, or if their water got in it, or if they couldn't get it. But we did not use that boat. I know that something happened with the boat that we couldn't use it. Do you have any theories on why that would be? If we had a boat out there in the water and they're swimming out to get it, why couldn't we use it?
I mean, the rope used to tie the boat down because it could have easily broken, because they probably did tie the boat down in case of a flood, but nobody thinks that it's going to be 20 feet. So you're not going to use a 30-foot rope to tie a fucking boat down, you know?
That makes sense.
So the boat was probably sitting in the water with the ass end up because the rope's tight.
Going down.
Yeah, that's probably why they tried to go get it. And the rope probably snapped.
Also consider how many people are at this house. They all drove there.
Yeah.
All of those cars are literally just at the bottom. Those cars were ruined. Yeah, they're all gone. And my house is 2 streets away. Well, my old house, the one that we built, we had actually just moved in 2004 to Pascagoula, to that William Street house, with my mom. But our house that we built, like the family house, was still in that Hurricane George house, like 2 streets away.
Was there any specific reason you guys moved?
Oh, my mom and dad got divorced.
Oh, it wasn't because you burned down the house?
Oh, no. We rebuilt after that. That was 98. That was the
Okay.
same year as George. Man, what a year for my parents.
Yeah.
Hurricane George, and I burned down the house. I might have burned down the house in 2000, but it's somewhere around there. No, they rebuilt after that.
Yeah. Thomas burned down his house.
I did burn down my house. Anyways, we're on the roof or whatever. They can't get to the boat. I don't remember why. And it's probably something as a 12-year-old I wasn't filled in on. Like nobody probably fucking told me.
Yeah.
But we're all kind of
And
just,
if you lose control of a boat, like if a boat becomes untied or something during a hurricane, that's gone.
yeah.
Like the wind's gonna throw that wherever the fuck it wants to go.
I get my first real injury after that. There's all these people that are huddled up on top of the roof or whatever. So many people. A tree falls onto the roof. Somehow hurts my arm. I don't think it landed on me, but it fell onto basically a group of people on the roof. Big fucking tree. Like I would assume an oak tree, but I don't know plants.
Yeah.
Falls onto the roof. This guy who I think is dead now. His name was Mike. I only remember that because his name was Mike Bird, but he's not the shitty one.
Oh,
rest in peace.
That's a shitty coincidence.
Yeah, a different Mike Bird pulls up on what do you call those boats? The little green
John boat.
Is that called a John boat? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the little green metal boats with the little tiny motors on the back.
Yep. So he's on
Flat
that.
Bottom.
He's on that, shirt off, big beer belly, clean shaven for some reason.
So this is during the day?
Drinking beer. Oh yeah, this is and it's like at the height. This is when the flooding got bad and we're like, we have to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
We are in the wrong place for this storm.
For some reason, I always heard this story and I assumed it was in the middle of the night.
No. This is the middle of the day, like during the storm. This isn't afterwards and we're trying to get out. This is like, we can't be here. Everybody's going to die.
Yeah.
Like we have to get the fuck out of here. So this guy pulls up on one of those boats. I don't know how he's controlling it, but he's standing up. Like I can see it very fucking clearly. Drinking. He's got beer. And he's standing up and he's basically like coming down the street to us on top of the water as this like savior. Like, I'm coming to get you all. Here's the problem. There's like 40 or 50 of us.
Yes.
And he's in that boat. So, and the highway, which I guess is not underwater because, 90 is kind of uphill. So the highway from in there, it's probably a mile away, maybe. He basically is like, we're going to get who we can and come back for more. Obviously, that's a very long process and a very scary situation. And what they do is they get the women and children, like we're on the fucking Titanic. It gets to the point where it's taking too long. So they tell, and when I say children, I mean little children, not 12-year-olds, not me, Zane, or anybody like that.
And this is a long process because you can probably only fit like maybe 4 or 5 people in the boat
at most.
And I'm assuming the water is still rising up the roof,
and it's still storming.
Yeah. And that's why it's taking too long. It's not like you guys became impatient. It was like, we're about to have a emergency bad.
So it turns into, and it's incredible looking back that we all made it, but it basically turned into that all the guys that were left, like all the dudes that were left, it's a very male heavy family. All the guys were just we had to swim back to Highway 90 in the middle of the storm in this flood water. We do that. I don't even remember how long that takes, but it's a lot of people getting left behind and long fucking process and going back to get them. And I assume you're messaging me. You have such a smirk on your face. And this might get off at some point. How do I do that?
You have to go to my name and then go to like something. I don't know. Me and Phil deal with this every single week.
How?
Yeah, there you go.
It's with Zoom. See, I don't fucking podcast anymore, so Zoom's changed up on me. Yeah, there's only 2.5 minutes left in this meeting, and then we'll have to do another one.
Yeah. So, yeah. I guess it doesn't really matter if I fucking record it.
Yeah. You want to just end this one and come back in?
Well, no, get to the end of what you're saying, and then we'll do that.
So, yeah, we all swim back. I don't really remember the swim that much other than I'm a huge pussy, so I'm 12, and you can't see. The water's fucking brown. You can't see anything. There's snakes fucking everywhere. I assume there's alligators everywhere. Interestingly enough, I didn't see an alligator until we got back to 90, and there were alligators on the highway because obviously there's not a lot of cars, and the gator farm's right across the highway from where we're at.
Almost 0 cars.
Right. And there's alligators on the highway. I might have saw like 1 or 2. I don't want to say there was a bunch of them, but they're just kind of like in the storm.
Yeah,
it's a really weird fucking visual. Yeah, we made it there. I don't remember how long it took for all that to pan out, but my grandparents lived down, and you would know this, nobody listening would, but Old Stage Road like down to a private road, E.B. Davis, and
Yeah.
it flooded pretty much all the
Oh
way
yeah.
up the private road, but it did not flood their land where they were at, like where the actual house was. It wasn't underwater, but the road was all the way, and the road's like a mile long. So we basically trekked there. The got in there. My grandpa made me look like an idiot because there's obviously no power at this point anywhere. And like I walked in and I just remember my grandpa being like, "Hey Thomas, catch the light for me." And I flipped the switch and it turned on. I felt really fucking stupid.
Classic granddad
Yeah,
stuff.
classic grandpa stuff.
All
He's
right,
still
well, we're
alive,
gonna
by the
take
way.
a shouts out. We're gonna take a quick break, then we're gonna come back and resume Thomas's Hurricane Katrina story. All right, and we're back. So yeah, Thomas. So you left off right when the storm ended.
Yeah, my grandpa tried to get me
And
to turn the light on.
yes,
That's so fucked up. What a faggot. So we
just had to shoe in that word.
yeah, because this is your podcast. I can say whatever I want here, to be honest.
Yeah, you have nothing to lose.
Yeah. Yeah, so we didn't have power, obviously. We stayed there. Now, here's the weird part is we're at my you know what? I actually have something I need to maybe ask my mom. Because now that I'm saying this out loud, this is something that doesn't add up. So we're at my grandparents', right? And when I say we, though, I mean, because this is my mom's side of the family I was in the house with. Okay. This is my dad's parents that live down the road here. And I see Zane and Beth, my sister, my mom, my dad, who are no longer together. Hold on. I got to revise some of my own history here.
Okay. See, guys, this is what happens when you're lying about a story. Sometimes you have to make sure it makes sense before you say it out loud.
No, what I'm saying, because nobody would know this, but what I'm saying is I don't think my dad was with us the whole time. I think it was just my mom. Because we're at her sister's house, right? With all these people and my mom. So I'm thinking maybe my dad was at my grandparents during the storm. I don't know. I don't remember him being there during the storm. So I think he might have already been there.
Wow, your dad was absent during important parts of your life. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a wild. I watched NASCAR with him last week. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I don't think he was there, and I think that's why we went there. Is probably because he's like, "Y'all can come here."
Makes sense.
Yeah,
makes sense that like 2 days after the storm,
yeah,
he finally picks up the phone and is like, "Oh, my bad. I didn't realize y'all were trying to call me. What's going on?"
Yeah.
Like, oh, so, we're all like dead. And
but he's
like, oh.
But here's the part I'm confused about now. Where did everybody else go?
I mean,
like my mom's other relatives. Yeah. That's where I'm questioning now. Where did they go? Again, as a 12-year-old, I don't think I'm filled in on all this information.
Yeah. Doesn't really matter. That's not you.
Yeah. I think that there was a lot more. I think there's a lot more time in between. We swam to 90 and we made it to my grandparents, a mile down 90 and up the road. Some shit had to happen in between there.
So how long did y'all go without power and everything?
Oh, dude, we didn't have power. Well, this is the thing is my house was in Pascagoula, where where that is, right behind Kevin's Corner. It's literally a half a mile away from the Gulf of Mexico. That whole neighborhood was just destroyed.
Yeah.
So my house, we haven't even seen my house yet. In Pascagoula, we haven't been there.
You're just assuming it's gone.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So we don't have power. I would say.
And for the record, so Pascagoula is further
south.
No, yeah, it's further south and it's also further west. But the area he's talking about, it's like, I mean, I guess you could kind of say it's like a really shitty beach community.
Pascagoula?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
what I'm saying, like that area specifically.
Yes.
It's like you said, it's like a half mile away from the beach. Where you guys were at is probably 2 or 3 miles away from the beach.
No, not even. It's on Williams Street. I mean, it hits the beach at the end of the street.
No, I'm talking about where you guys were at your grandparents' house.
Oh, yeah. It's more you're surrounded by the river and all that shit. It's all we're in the middle of all of them. We're in Pascagoula. You're just right by the beach. You're right by the Gulf. Yeah. Anyways, I want to be realistic here and try to remember accurately. And Phil probably could attest to some of this. Was he living in Latimer when this happened still?
Phil has lived in the same place forever.
Okay.
So he moved from Oklahoma to where he's at now. He's never left.
I think we're out of power for like at least a month, maybe longer.
Yeah.
Does that sound accurate? Sound right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's probably like between a month or two. A lot of generators going on. A lot of filling the bathtub with water. Shit like that. I don't know how any of that works, but I'm an adult that doesn't have to go through a storm. We can just leave.
It sounds like you guys didn't have it that bad off.
Well, the problem was when now it's time to go home and we can't stay in this random house with however many fucking people. We don't have a home because it is completely destroyed.
Yeah.
William Street. I mean, here's the problem. And I think so. My stepdad's kind of a cheap guy. Looking back, all right. So I think I'm autistic. We'll get to that later. But looking back, I think that a lot of when your shit gets wet, you got to replace all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think that was really done. I think it was just kind of worked around at the William Street house. So I think we lived in there for several years with a lot of like black mold and shit, like a lot of bad stuff, which I think attributes to my adulthood. But we essentially moved back in, me, Zane, Beth, and my mom and stepdad, to a gutted Navy house right down the street from the beach, and just lived there without power, without walls for the most part, for months.
Have I ever met your sister?
I don't think so.
She hot?
Sure. What do you want to know? Specifics?
What was it?
Huh?
That's it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's not much more than that. People fucking died. Zane went back to work for some cell phone place, so he didn't really have to deal with any of it because he worked on the road, so he just left. I feel like Trent Lott opened back up in like October. I don't think schools were closed for long. Yeah, I think schools were like, you still don't have power at your house, but you got to go to fucking school. I feel like schools were only closed for like 6 weeks.
Yeah. If I ever find out who Trent Lott is, it's going to be really cool because a school is named after him, a park is named after him, and a fucking airport.
He was a Mississippi senator. He lived on fucking Beach Boulevard, bro.
Was he a racist?
Oh, yeah. He was a Mississippi senator.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any cool like death things. I don't know if that lady, whoever it was that was pregnant during all of it, I don't know if she ever had her baby or if it died.
Okay. We'll just assume everything was cool.
Yeah. Now I'm like, where did all those other people go? And was my dad there? Because I don't remember that. Those specific, like most thing I can see in my head is the guy coming up on the green boat with no shirt on, drinking beer. His name being Mike Bird. I think that guy's died too. I think both Mike Birds are dead.
Yeah. Well, rest in peace to one of them. Yeah. The other one,
we're better off for it.
Suck my dick.
Yeah, I don't think there's much cooler to add than that. But hey, Phil, at least I was there. How the fuck do you start a Katrina story from 2 states away? Why don't we ask you your Katrina? You were in Georgia. What's your fucking Katrina story?
Okay, well, I'll tell you. It was 2005.
Yep.
We had already been out of school recently for a hurricane that happened. That, like I said before, by the time it got up to us, it was a glorified tropical storm, if that.
Does Georgia get a lot of hurricanes?
No.
Okay.
Like every once in a while, one will continue through the Gulf and hit us.
Okay.
But like the strongest hurricane that ever hit us was Hurricane Opal, and that was in like 95 or something. And
year of the Braves.
Yeah, that was the year Braves won the World Series. For the first time, not the second time, which was last year. I specifically remember sleeping through that storm because
that's a really good story.
Yeah, my mom and grandma were like, "Yeah, you slept through the entire thing," and I was like, "Yeah, only one of those though."
Rest in peace to one of them.
Yeah.
The other one made me fucking chicken nuggets.
Yeah. So for Hurricane Katrina, like I said, it was a weird year for storms. It was like I only remember that because I think we got out of school for 3 separate hurricanes that hit us. But I remember we got out of school for 1 or 2 days for Hurricane Katrina. So I got to sit at home and do nothing. And I remember watching the news and be like, holy shit, George Bush hates black people.
Yeah. And that was 2005. That is like the beginning height of my Kanye West fandom.
Yeah.
So that was literally like the fucking watching what's something cool to watch. That was like my Super Bowl that year. Yeah. Watching Kanye West on the fucking Katrina aid thing.
I remember watching.
I'll never forget it.
Watching the news and seeing like the helicopter shit of New Orleans and like people standing on the roofs and shit. I remember seeing a shit ton of video from the Superdome where it just looked like a post. And the other thing, I was like, I remember thinking this. I was like, these helicopters are flying around filming all these people. Yeah. These people are fucking like waving like help, help, help. And the news helicopter is just like pointing a camera at them. I was like, that's kind of a dickhead thing.
There was a lot of that. I remember now that you say that, I remember somebody talking about where would this happen? I don't know how this would happen, but bodies kind of floating around Pascagoula at one point. And I remember specifically somebody mentioning like a cat, like a coffin was floating around Pascagoula with a body in it.
Well, I know that happened in New Orleans. Like
Okay.
coffins floated up because all the New Orleans cemeteries are above ground.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I remember that. I remember hearing that. Zane actually ended up quitting his job. He lived in a FEMA trailer in our yard for like 6 years.
This is the most Zane story I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Like
he kissed an ill. He left.
Yeah.
He was hard to find.
Okay.
Came back and lived in our front yard for years.
All of these things, and then he quit his job.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Nope, Zane, this all checks out.
Yeah, for I guess anybody who doesn't know, Zane is Thomas's brother who looks nothing like him.
Habitual job quitter.
He is, I would say he is the most inconsistent person that I've ever met. I would say like no, not even that. I would say as far as like, the only thing he's consistent with
his shoulders.
He's never, ever, ever one time been anything but nice to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I've seen him be mean to other people, and not even necessarily mean. I think most of it was justified, but I've seen him be like upset and harsh to people.
Sure.
But with me, he's been perfectly fine.
And what's wild is there's like an 11-year span there that you didn't know him, where he was a full-time firefighter for like 2 different departments the whole time, consistently. And then he like resorted back to fucking Katrina Zane.
Yeah.
Right after that.
Zane, if you're listening to this, call me, dude. I haven't talked to you in like a year.
Hey, Zane, if you listen to this, call me, dude.
That's not my fault.
I haven't talked to you
called
since,
you.
Hey, I haven't talked to you since Christmas, and I was in town last week.
Yeah, it's tough.
Talk to me, man.
All right, are you ready to get this goddamn topic?
Can we talk about the autism thing for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Do you think you're autistic?
No.
Have you ever been tested?
No, I am diagnosed with either ADD or ADHD.
No, those aren't real. But autism, I actually looked up. So I started watching Love on the Spectrum, the US version, and I started relating to a lot of them. And I started thinking about weird things about me, too logical. I can't stand sounds like, you know this because you eat like a goblin, but like smacking sounds, like not to the point where it annoys me. I don't get annoyed when I hear people eat and shit like that, or, you know, breathe or fucking make noises that are unnecessary. But it's like a visceral hate. Like it makes me almost have a physical reaction. Like my heart races, I start shaking. It's a problem. I don't think that's normal. There's a lot of different things. So I went online and I took a test to see. And I tried to Google like the highest rated autism test online. And you can take little surveys, but they're all stupid. It's like, do you separate your foods by color? Do you like to work with others or by yourself? Like it's dumb fucking questions, but I answered them all truthfully. And it told me that my results were inconclusive. And they were basically like, we don't know either way.
Why do you want to be autistic?
I'm not saying that I want to.
Do you think it would be cool?
I do think it would be kind of cool. I think it would be kind of cool to say. I'm not saying that I want to be.
Because then you could say retarded.
It's an excuse. I could also say retarded.
Yeah, because then you could be like,
do weird shit.
Sorry, I'm retarded.
Yeah,
and then nobody could be like, you can't say that. It's like, I can't say. Oh, so are you saying that black people can't say it? Black people can't say their word? That's my word, dude.
Yeah. What word was that?
Huh?
What word are you talking about? Black people can't say retarded?
Retarded. No. The other one. The one for black people that they can say.
And does it mean retarded? Is it like the same?
What? No.
No?
No, it's much worse, I think.
Okay. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Hey,
but
Dan Carlin, Hardcore History, obviously the best podcast of all time. He did an episode on the Atlantic slave trade, and I highly recommend everybody listen to that.
Does he say it? Does Dan Carlin say it?
Oh, I don't. I don't remember. I don't think so.
Oh man.
But the Atlantic slave trade is so much worse than you think it is.
What is that?
The Atlantic slave trade.
I've never heard of that.
Like,
but I mean, are you talking about just the general like sale of slaves over the Atlantic Ocean?
I'm talking about like a whole overview of the entire thing, like how it started, how it ended, everything in between, how it was in America,
like
how
Africa
it was in
America.
Africa, how it was on the boats. It's so much worse than you think it is.
I don't know. I think it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's
worse.
Like there's a lot of things that are the most horrific thing that's ever happened to people. There's like trench warfare in World War One. There's like shit, like there was like medieval torture.
Yeah.
And then there's like the Atlantic slave trade. Like these are all things where it's like nothing is worse than that, but it's like they're all 10 across the board. Like nothing can ever be worse than that. It can only be different, you know?
Okay. Yeah. I never watched Roots. Did you watch that?
No.
You ready to get into this
I don't
goddamn
watch
topic?
Movies.
That's not a movie, dude.
Okay.
All right.
The Band? don't like music.
Black people. All right.
No,
You're gonna
that's not what I said. I
you
said
don't like
music.
Questlove? I watched a clip of Questlove yesterday. Him and John Mayer, and they're playing fucking music for white people.
Oh yeah, the Chappelle
The
thing.
Chappelle
Hey,
skit.
here's one thing. If anybody's gonna listen to this and they're gonna take one thing away from this, go watch at least, if you're not gonna do anything else, at least the first episode ever of Chappelle Show,
Oh yeah,
just to understand how hard they came out of the gate.
yeah. The first skit is the Clayton Bigsby skit.
That's the first thing.
That's the first thing they do. The black white supremacists.
That's the first thing.
That's so good.
That like nobody. That's another thing.
Show us
like,
your face.
That's a 10. Like nothing can be higher than that.
That's
There's just things that are that good and different.
That is good enough that like Chappelle's shitty specials, he's still the greatest of all time.
Yeah. No, he's
like
absolutely
his peak was too high. His peak was too high. You can't fuck with it. All right, you ready to get in this goddamn topic?
Absolutely. This week we're talking about fatties. We're doing a Mount Rushmore fatties. So this will be fun. This is, and I kind of want to do something stupid because we threw some topics around and they're like, yeah, I mean, I guess we could do like a actual like analytic episode or something like that. But hey, we're not here very often.
Yeah.
This isn't gonna happen a lot. So let's fucking do something fucking
Let's just talk about fat people.
Yeah. So
by the way, tell the people, is the podcast back?
Which one?
This Rushmore.
No.
All right.
Were you hoping I was gonna say yes?
No, I wanted you to tell them. I was just trying to build suspense. Okay. I knew the answer. We're across now I'm not the only one that's gone. Now we're across the fucking country.
Yeah. Never say never, but there's a lot of things that are gonna have to happen.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Who's your number 4?
My number 4 on my Mount Rushmore of fatties is
what are you
Mexicans.
Drinking?
Modelo.
What? Is that a Mexican beer?
Yes,
Modelo, is that the UFC one?
Yeah.
Fight with a fighting spirit or whatever?
Yeah, the fighting spirit, dude.
Oh yeah, that's Mexicans to me. So I love Mexicans fighting spirit and you hate that they're fat. So go ahead.
I love that they're fat.
You love that they're fat. Oh, okay. This is your favorite fatties.
Yeah. So nobody gets fat like Mexicans get fat.
Okay.
And I love it. So there was recently a Mexican guy on a fucking crew that we were working with.
Yeah.
And I've never seen anybody that shape. He looked like a marble and you put arms and legs on it.
Okay. Now, here's a question that's going to sound worse than I intended, I think. So Asian people generally not fat, correct?
Sure.
Is that fair to say? If you're saying that Mexicans are generally fat.
No, I'm not saying that.
You're not saying that. You're just saying that the fat ones are the best.
Yes.
But you're not saying that there's more fat ones than usual of other races.
No, because if I say that, I mean, this is a massive glass house that I'm throwing rocks in called America. Yeah. I can't say that.
Okay, but all right, well, that's kind of important to my point, though. Mexican people eat a lot of
tacos.
Right. Okay. Rice. Right. So they eat a lot of rice. Asian people eat a lot of rice, maybe more so than Mexican people. Would you say?
Yeah.
Around the same amount. Similar diets.
I don't know. No,
meat and rice.
No.
What's different? Did you add beans if you're Mexican?
I would say that Asians, like, that is their. I don't even know if we have an equivalent. That's like their French fries, I guess, if you're going to take it to an American dialect, but it's not even that. It's deeper and more than that.
All right.
They
worship rice. You're saying Asians worship rice?
Kind of, yeah. So whenever they have a meal, it's like, so obviously it's rice and then what else?
Okay. What I'm saying is rice is a simple carb. Rice will make you very fat very quickly. Very easy to get fat just eating rice. So if their diets are so similar, why can Mexicans get so fat and Asian people
I don't think their diets are similar.
Okay. What's the difference then?
I don't know. But Mexicans have
is beer
tortillas.
Do Mexicans drink a lot of beer? Do you think?
Oh, absolutely.
In your experience?
I have never seen anybody drink beer like Mexicans.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the wheat.
I used to work with a guy who drank a 24-pack of Bud Light every night.
Wow, he drank an American beer too?
And he was fine. Mexicans love Bud Light.
Do they really?
Yeah, I'm going to say a lot of things. It's like Mexicans are.
You're teaching me. Yeah, these are very general statements, but I'm interested in learning, and it's what I came here for. It's the only reason I wanted to come back. Yes. But they don't drink Modelo, Mexicans generally?
Not really. Just like Australians don't drink Foster's.
Is Foster's Australian? I would think Nope. Guinness is
It's
Irish.
Australian for beer, you stupid bitch.
Foster's is? First of all,
Yes.
Australian's not
That's
a
their
language. It's an
tagline.
accent.
That's their tagline.
Oh, okay. I was about to say they don't have different words. They just use ours and say them
Yes,
funny.
they do. They have a different word for.
Dude, how many times are you going to reference that word and not actually say it? Because that's a lot. That's more than
It's
usual.
the whole podcast, dude.
Okay.
That's my only thing. That's the only thing I have.
All right. You want my number 4? Wait, are you done with Mexicans?
No, I'm not.
All right, tell me more.
What's your favorite thing about Mexican?
My favorite thing about Mexicans? Probably boxing. They
Cool
generally
too.
create a lot of really good boxers.
Yeah, they're great.
Julio Cesar Chavez, come on.
Oh, come on, dude. Cain Velasquez
All right. Is he a pedophile or did he shoot one?
shot a pedophile.
Okay.
Come on, dude.
Those are two really different things.
If you call Cain Velasquez a pedophile, I'll shoot you too.
All right. Who's another good Mexican? You want to do a quick Rushmore of Mexican? We got Cain Velasquez. We got Julio Cesar Chavez.
Guillermo
Selena?
from Jimmy Kimmel Show.
Yeah, Selena.
No, not familiar.
She got killed. She was shot.
I understand who she is. Never. I don't think ever heard her music or anything.
Jennifer Lopez.
It doesn't count. That's an American. Gross.
Right. Okay.
El Chapo. Pretty
El
sick.
Chapo's a good one. Broke out of prison twice.
Bad guy, but also kind of.
We don't know that. We know what we're told.
True. Never met him.
Yep.
That could be a CIA psyop.
Yeah.
And now that I think about it, probably is.
Did you hear about them trying to find his kid, his son?
No, he has a. Go ahead.
His son helped him break out, and like the fucking mafia or whatever in Mexico, whatever they're called, the cartel. They went to like kill him. They gave him like death threats or some shit, or held him hostage. So El Chapo, while he was in prison, had his people put dynamite on all of their houses, like underneath everyone's house in that cartel. It was basically like, release him or all of your families die tonight, and they released him.
Yeah,
I heard Brian Callen say that, so it's probably not true, but I just heard that today. All right, well, my number 4. Are you done with Mexican chat?
Yeah, I guess. if you're just gonna try to if you're just gonna refuse to talk about Mexicans, then yeah. What's your number 4?
Speaking of stealing from black people, my number 4 is Elvis. So I'm pretty high on Elvis right now. By the way, don't think he was ever that good. I will say that. I want to preface with that. Like, he's captivating, I guess. Like, he's a good entertainer, but you're not fucking taking vocal lessons from Elvis or jamming a bunch of Elvis songs right now.
Yeah.
Did you watch the movie? I asked Pepper, knowing the answer. Austin Butler plays him. He's a handsome kid. Very charismatic. He's fucking good. Really good. Tom Hanks plays a fat guy. Oh, Tom Hanks and Elvis is actually my number 4. I'm switching it. Tom Hanks is the Colonel in the movie Elvis. Is my number 4 fat people.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Tom Hanks is really good.
Oh shit! I have an honorable mention that you're gonna love.
He was so skinny in Philadelphia and so fat in Elvis. Talk about that. He went from AIDS to that guy.
Fucking the Stuck on an Island movie. He was skinny as shit.
Castaway was very skinny in that one, but Elvis literally died taking a shit. That's as fat as you can get.
Okay, so here's a question that was posed to me a couple weeks ago that I did not know the answer to.
Yeah.
What was the name of the volleyball on Castaway?
Wilson.
What was the name of Tom Hanks' character on Castaway?
Nobody fucking knows that.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Everybody knows the volleyball. Nobody knows Tom Hanks.
I wonder if they ever said it because he doesn't have any dialogue other than with the ball. Did they?
They did.
He's just the FedEx driver. I mean, maybe he had a name tag.
He's not a FedEx driver. He's a fucking pilot. Show some goddamn respect.
It's a cargo pilot, dude. You're driving a wind car. That doesn't make it a goddamn airplane. You're driving a fucking sky bus. Get the fuck out of here.
Okay. Well, I guess you hate that microphone that came over on FedEx. I guess you hate those headphones.
Hey, Tom Cruise, that's a pilot. Maverick, that's a fucking pilot. Tom Hanks, Castaway, it's not a pilot.
Just because Checo Perez can fucking drive an F1 car.
Is he Mexican?
And he's a driver. When I'm driving my 2014 Nissan Versa S Note, I'm also a driver. Okay.
Yes. Correct.
There's
and Tom Hanks also a driver in the FedEx.
Thank you. No, pilot.
Yes.
And
how fat? Who's the fattest F1 driver? Can you be fat in an F1 car?
Let me think about that.
I wouldn't think so.
Mansell was fairly portly.
I guess if you're fat in an F1 car, they would have to make the car lighter though, because you have to meet spec.
Yeah, no, you're right.
That's fucking. I know about racing. I'm a big racing guy.
F1
yeah, Elvis, dude. Elvis died taking a shit. And do you know why? Do you know what happened? Basically, he took so many pills. He didn't. Oh shit! You didn't want to talk about it on the show. Elvis didn't shit for a while.
Oh wow.
And it was because he was taking so many pills. He was taking all these fucking pain pills and shit.
Yeah, probably
And
opiates.
yeah, opiates, exactly. You would know. He took a bunch of opiates and he could not shit. And he literally, his girlfriend at the time, I don't remember her name, but she was like,
Doesn't matter.
he would
Stupid bitch.
spend hours in the bathroom just trying to shit, and he
And
never
that's
shit.
before phones.
Yeah, and nothing would come out before phones. He was actually in there, like sitting there, but with his legs, he was practicing karate, is what she said, because he would just do karate from the waist down. So, anyways, she told him allegedly, this is like the legend, that she was like, "Don't sit in there too long. You know how tired you get." That motherfucker went in there to take a shit and never came
Wait,
out.
hold on. Do you know how tired you get?
Yeah, because he sits on the toilet for so long, he'll just fall asleep.
So he'll okay, that doesn't make any sense. So he'll come back out of taking a shit and be like, "Oh man, I'm so tuckered out from taking shits."
No, I think he would. They would find him sleeping on the toilet a lot because he would just try to take a shit all day for hours at a time, and nothing would come out. But apparently, he strides so hard, like it fucked up his insides, like it killed him on the inside. He had so much shit blocked up there. He didn't like have a heart attack on the toilet. That is not what happened. He was just clogged up in that area, and it'll kill you, Pepper. It will kill you if you don't shit.
Yeah. Well, guess who is taking steps
Yeah.
to rectify that issue?
Yeah, and I mean that's really why they made that movie, the new Elvis movie, #1 movie in the world, is to bring awareness to that situation.
Wow.
Who's your number 3?
Number 3 in my Rushmore of fatties is. Ooh. I'm thinking about switching 2 and 3.
Okay.
You know what? No, I'm gonna take my number 1 and I'm gonna move it down to 3, and then I'm gonna figure out my 2 and 3 later.
Okay.
Because I feel very strongly about those. All right, you ready? My number 3 on my Rushmore fatties is Chris Farley / John Candy.
Candy,
I don't know the difference between the two.
Okay. Well, one of them was a serious actor, and one of them was like a sketch comedy guy.
No, they're both comedy guys.
No, John Candy was like an emotional, serious actor who did funny movies, and Chris Farley was an SNL guy that was just like, "I'm fucking fat."
Nah, they're definitely the same person.
I don't think so. John Candy did the ski movie where the black people died. Lose just
Cool.
skiing, but with a boat, with a
Cool Runnings.
Cool Runnings. He did that one.
That was John.
That was John Candy. Chris Farley did Tommy Boy, fat guy in a little coat.
And that was Chris.
Yes, and they're both dead from being
obese,
drug addict,
cocaine. Okay,
yes, cocaine.
Sorry. Yeah.
One of them was friends with Adam Sandler.
If you're gonna listen to this podcast, you're gonna take away one thing. If you're too fat, don't do cocaine. It seems like a bad combination.
Or take pills. Don't do anything that's going to keep you from taking a shit. If you're going to be fat, your body kind of needs to get rid of some of that.
I think doing coke. I don't think cocaine. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not a doctor, so don't trust what I say. But I don't think cocaine will keep you from taking a shit like Elvis.
Yeah,
I think that's more like opiates or something.
Yeah, I think he was taking pain pills. He was hurt all the time because he was doing all that karate. My number,
yeah.
I just heard a story. You're not going to give a fuck
fat.
about this. I'm going to make this quick. You're not going to care, but I just read the story yesterday. Alice Cooper got invited to Elvis's like fucking penthouse in like 72 or whatever, like the height of his fame. And he goes up there. They have security search all of them, make sure they don't have any fucking guns. And they don't. They get in there, and Elvis is like, "Alice, come in my kitchen." And he hands him a pistol, and he goes, "Fucking shoot me in the head." And Alice Cooper's like, "What?" And then he's thinking to himself, should I shoot him in the head? Because it would be pretty fucking cool to be known as the guy that killed Elvis.
Yeah.
He's like, but then I'm like, these security guards are going to shoot me at any time. And he said, before I could finish my thought, Elvis like crane kicked the gun across the room, put him in a rear naked choke. He said, that's how you take a fucking weapon from somebody. That's the story from Alice Cooper.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of drugs that is. That doesn't sound like opiates.
I think he was a little bit of everything. He was always drunk and he took a lot of pills. I think it was a mix. Yeah. But I think he was also on a lot of uppers for like going on stage and shit.
Yeah. That's the life, to be honest.
Yeah, it sounds fucking great. If you watch the movie, you're like, this dude was living.
Yeah.
It sounded fucking awesome.
If he just would have like added diuretics to that cocktail, I mean that's the perfect life.
That's it. All right, my number 3 is the
I guess to finish my thought from earlier, if you're gonna be a fat guy and you're gonna do a ton of drugs and stuff, just diuretics.
Yeah,
just make sure, supplement with fiber. Use like that magnesium or whatever shit that you can drink.
Yeah, milk of
Um,
magnesia.
So just make sure you're up on all that stuff, and then I assume you'll live forever.
Yeah, you could. Theoretically, you could live
Yeah,
forever. Yeah, John Candy and Chris Farley both funny.
yeah. I mean, definitely. You need to learn how to crane kick guns out of people's hands.
Karate helps.
Obviously, karate helps. It doesn't help.
Alice
Martial
Cooper.
arts is the most important thing on the planet.
Alice Cooper sucks though, kind of, huh?
Yeah,
All right.
good at golf.
My number 3 is the only guy to ever throw out a first pitch in a baseball game and be stuck in a bathtub because he's so fat.
Is he a U.S. president?
President Taft, the first person to ever throw out the first pitch. You know that he started the fucking ceremony. It was his idea because he's fat. He's like a fat fuck that could never make the baseball team, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna throw the first pitch. Fuck these people. I'm the president," and he threw it. Very fat guy.
I wonder if 50
had to be
Cent
cut out of the White House bathtub.
I wonder if 50 Cent, the rapper, has ever blamed President Taft.
Yeah, he should. But yeah, I don't really know anything about him except for that.
Yeah, me neither. And I'm a history guy.
Yeah, so fucking yeah, President Taft. When was he president? Like the 60s? He had to be president sometime when there was like nothing really big going on, and he's just like, I just want to go fucking play baseball and take bubble baths.
So it had to be after 1880 because that's when baseball was.
Yeah, and I would think it had to be after World War I and II because I know who those presidents were.
No. It had to be before
or between them.
Yeah, so it definitely wasn't 1865 when the Civil War was because we would know.
We know the guy Lincoln and Johnson.
Yeah, we know the guy who started the Civil War. We know the guy who like actually started the Civil War. Then we know the guy who started the Civil War. Then we know the guy who ended the Civil War. And then
interesting.
We know the guy who I'm gonna guess he started becoming president in 1890. Are you looking it up?
Yeah. No fact checking. Huh?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
When was World War I, Pepper?
World War I was 1911.
Right. He was the president when World War I started.
We got
How did I not know that? No, World War I was 1914. Yeah. So he actually left the office 1913. He got the fuck out of there. They're like, no time for baseball and bubble.
Yeah, no, we got involved in 14.
Right. But it started in 11.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. We got 5 minutes before we have to restart this thing again. So,
all right.
What's your number 2?
My number 2 on my Rushmore of fat people, fatties, is Roy Nelson.
Why do you say that? Why do you put a T in their last name?
Roy Nelson.
There you go.
That's how you're supposed to say it.
Yeah, you say Nelson.
Yeah. So Roy Nelson was one of the most exciting UFC fighters of all time. Incredible knockout artist. Hell of the fucking chin. Love the guy. And he just an absolute fat fuck. Probably could have fought at 170 or 180 if he took his diet seriously.
Yeah.
But guess what? Fuck that shit. He retired from MMA and now he does barbecue tours in Las Vegas.
Well, my number 2 is a athlete with a similar path, just in a superior sport. John Daly.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Golfer John Daly. Living proof. Him and Donald Trump both living proof that you can drink 20 Diet Cokes a day and not lose weight.
It is crazy that John Daly and Donald Trump are so similar.
Yeah.
Like in physique and attitude.
It's also strange how they can be so similar. And I'm not saying which one I think, but one comes off way cooler than the other.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, it's true. Yeah.
Like one, it's like endearing, and the other one, it's like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, John Daly is a cocky fucking guy.
Yeah, I fucking love him. What's
your number? No, it's your turn. Oh, you did.
2 was John Daly. Yeah.
My number 1 on my Rushmore of fatties is Rob Ford.
Oh shit! I thought about him. The Toronto mayor.
Yes.
Yeah.
He smoked crack. Told people he smoked crack, and then got reelected. And people want him back. Unfortunately, he's dead because what did I say before? If you're too fat, don't do drugs.
No, that's not what we said. You're too fat and you do drugs, supplement your fiber and your electrolytes.
Yeah, but I don't think that counts for cocaine. Because that's what took Chris Farley.
Yeah.
I think if you're too fat, don't do cocaine because your heart is already doing everything it possibly fucking can to pump blood through your fat fucking veins.
And we're not saying exercise or lose weight. We're just saying choose different drugs.
Yeah.
Okay.
What you're doing is you're already like almost at your rev limiter being that fat. And then adding cocaine, you're over revving your engine. You're going to throw a rod, and it's going to blow the block out, and you're going to die. Thomas, what's your number 1 on your Rushmore fatties?
Honorable mention: Santa Claus. Number 1 is John Goodman.
Oh, Brother Arthel, greatest movie of all time. Honorable mention, Thomas.
Yeah.
Richard Jewell.
Oh shit. Paul Walter Hauser, the actor. Fuck Richard Jewell.
Yeah.
But the actor that played him, yeah, he should be on my list.
Yeah.
I love that guy. That guy's fucking hilarious. Everybody go look him up. Go watch Kingdom.
You called me to tell me about that guy one day.
Oh, dude, I don't know what it is. Something about him is like compelling to me. It fucking draws me in. By the way, never mind. Doesn't matter.
No, go ahead. Well, you have a
The
minute.
show that I discovered that guy on, Kingdom, is so fucking good. I basically told Brian, hey, y'all should bring that show back. And he's actually trying to do that now.
Yeah. And that's the kind of connections that we have here at
That's
Rushmore
good
Podcast.
fucking connections. What's your number one?
I did it.
Yeah, you didn't. Richard
I did.
Jewell? You said honorable mention.
No, I said Rob Ford.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You did do it. Yeah, that guy's fucks for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it.
Yeah. Well, great episode. Can't wait to do it again next week. What
Yeah,
a
let's do it
cool,
around Thanksgiving or so.
what a cool show.
Yeah. Welcome to Rushmore. I don't know how to end these anymore.
Give me Thomas, to end, give me your closing thoughts.
Can I hear that Chris Rock joke one more time?
How's the difference between